Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Frontier have just announced the latest Interstellar Initiative. This one is called the Enclave. Now for those of you who are new to this or who may not yet be aware, Interstellar Initiatives are what Frontier define as narrative-led events. The previous one was called Bridging the Gap and involved 4 stages or 4 phases, each of which had a different element involved with it. The short of it was, though, players effectively got involved in a bunch of community goals, made a few decisions, and this led to an outcome of implementing a new weapon into the game. Further, it also introduced 2 new megaships which permanently travel between the Zunde system as well as the Synwave sector. And they do this on a weekly basis, and if you're so inclined, you can hitch a ride along with the megaship when it jumps. It seems likely then that the Enclave will also have multiple phases, although Frontier haven't actually revealed how many it will be just yet. They have revealed Phase 1, and this will begin on the 4th of July. Now, they've also revealed an overview of the Phase 1 here, and I will read a little bit of what they've had to say here. The whole point of the Interstellar Initiative, at least Phase 1, is that meta-alloys are reportedly growing scarce. Now, Aegis Research has issued a statement amid growing concerns that meta-alloy harvests in the Pleiades Nebula have slowed dramatically. A number of sources claim that the Thargoid barnacle sites have recently ceased producing materials. The situation was addressed by Professor Alba of Aegis Research. Thargoid structures remain poorly understood, so we can only theorize why the barnacles in most Pleiades systems have grown barren. Our leading hypothesis is that these sites have been overexploited in recent years and humanity has simply exhausted the resources. So he then goes on to basically say that meta-alloys are essential and a valuable commodity, both in terms, I guess, of their price, but also as a vital component of anti-xeno technology. Aegis then will be spearheading an initiative to look for alternative sources of meta-alloys, that is, other barnacles, as this is where they're generally harvested from. So what does this mean for the game? Well, essentially, with meta-alloys becoming rare, it will mean that the price of them that's paid for by the markets will actually increase. So it's quite possible that if you're still able to find meta-alloys at that point, you may be able to make a reasonable profit, maybe even a significant profit from them. The second aspect of this phase will be yes, you guessed it, a community goal. What it has to say here is that Aegis Research will request the services of commanders to deliver exploration data to the Oracle in the Delphi system, a combined effort to locate a new source of meta-alloys. So we have had exploration-based community goals in the past, and essentially what they involve is players going to specific systems or a specific cluster of systems and gathering exploration data. Now, what this means for the new FSS or the new exploration system, I don't yet know. It may be that we have to map particular planets, but I guess we'll find out nearer the time. But essentially, it will be go collect data and retrieve or deliver it. So I guess the good news here is that with this particular Interstellar Initiative, Frontier are getting straight into the meat of it, rather than, as before, simply having a vote on the forums, which kind of took place out of the game, and there was quite a bit of, let's say, negative feedback about that. So with the Enclave, things are a little bit different. We do have a customized community goal here. There are some things obviously being changed in the game, as some of the current meta-alloy sites are being diminished, and there are going to be new meta-alloy sites placed out there somewhere. So essentially then, these Phase 1 is a dressed up community goal. Now, I don't want to judge the entire initiative of the Enclave based on Phase 1, because obviously we don't know yet how many other phases they're going to be, and we don't know what they're going to contain or what direction they're going to take things in. However, what I will say is in this time of relatively slow development of Elite Dangerous, where we're just getting the very small updates every 3 to 4 months, Interstellar Initiatives are a very big part of what players are hoping to see within the game, so they need to be good. Whether or not then the previous initiative, Bridging the Gap, could be classified as good, and whether or not the introduction of the advanced multi-cannon, as well as the megaships that carry you a mere 700 light years, could be classified as good, is no doubt going to vary considerably from person to person. Personally though, I'm kind of hoping to see more. Community goals are kind of okay, I guess, as a mechanic. Personally, they're not really for me, but I can understand the appeal for other people. Now, if they're going to be used as the foundation for additional gameplay or narrative-led gameplay, then really that narrative does need to be a little bit involving. Maybe something significant could happen here. For example, there is a case of this in another game, EVE Online, something that happened today in fact, where NPCs, a faction called Drifters, started attacking players. Not just players flying around, but also player structures. Essentially, a massive invasion. This is unprecedented in that it happened unannounced. No one really knows why it's happening, but it turns out this is very interesting. Not only because it's a surprise, but also because it leads to dynamic and emergent gameplay as players begin to organize defensives and counterattacks. Now, in my mind, events like this are great because the plot, the narrative-led plot, is something that emerges over time. It's something that directly affects players, it's something that directly affects the game. Even as a cursory glance, it's very hard not to create parallels between Elite Dangerous and EVE Online regarding this type of event. Wouldn't it be nice, for example, to see a wave of Thargoids suddenly attacking everywhere, or even specific systems like Sol, for example, or maybe even the arrival of Thargoid motherships? We could then have interstellar initiatives surrounding these type of events. What's going on? What's the objective? How do we defend against it? And so on and so forth. It needn't just be the Thargoids, it could be any faction or any force within the game world. The essential point here is that whatever's occurring, whatever narrative event is occurring, it's something that's visual, something that's reactive, something that's actually physically occurring. Does the reduction of available resources from barnacle sites constitute something like this? Personally, I'd say no. But to be fair, we should really see where this goes with the next phases. Just maybe something significant will actually happen. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have a fundamental issue with the nature of interstellar initiatives, and also it's not a case that I don't appreciate the amount of work that actually goes into these things. But it is, as I said at the beginning of the video, interstellar initiatives right now are seen as key moments in the year, simply because Elite Dangerous is in a period of slow development. Yes, we're getting small updates now and then, but interstellar initiatives really should be where it's at. So hopefully the Enclave is really going to be the next big thing. Let's see where it goes. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.